Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon in my kitchen. Thanks for joining me on this Craftsy Live. One of my fun things that I love to do for Craftsy is share my recipes with you live. I'd like to see who's here, so you guys can message in and tell me who you are, where you're from, like what you're excited about this recipe, and I will read your questions and comments and hopefully get to them all. This is what I love about the live events is that I can actually it feels like we're interacting and that you're in my kitchen with me, which is super fun. And I prefer it that way because that way you get real-time recipe and your answers to your questions if you have any. So when I was coming up with the idea for this recipe, it's buffalo chicken, but everybody loves buffalo chicken and we love it at football games and game day and all that stuff. But it's not the healthiest appetizer or snack or main dish even. So I created a recipe that mimics all the flavors of buffalo chicken. It's fiery, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but I do it with chicken breasts. You can do it with chicken breasts, chicken thighs, chicken tenders. So you can serve it as a party appetizer or you can serve it as a main dish with the veggie and some starch on the side. And I think you're gonna love this. Those of you who know me know that I bring a lot of my creations to my son, who's about 45 minutes away in college, and he's got 4 college roommates. So every recipe that I test and create, and last week I shot for Craftsy and I had 10 dishes without a home, and I drive them down to his house in college and deliver, and everything has Post-it notes on it. Well, this buffalo chicken that I made, I always go down and pick up the empty containers, and sometimes there's, a little bit left of whatever it was because I bring so much. This buffalo chicken, you could tell it was licked clean. There was not a single speck of sauce left or chicken or anything. So I know it's a slam dunk. The flavors are powerful and the chicken is moist and it's awesome. So while I start prepping, go ahead and tell me where you're from and say hello, and I'll say hello back. I can see I might have to lean in if it's a long question, but I can definitely see who's here, and I'd love to see who's here. So first we're going to start with, I'm going to get a pan, this skillet over medium-high heat. I want that preheating while I kind of bread the chicken. Antoinette, looking forward to a new and fun recipe. Hey, well, I hope to deliver. It's definitely new. It's definitely fun. And I haven't seen a lot of recipes like this out there, like taking all the things you love about buffalo chicken and putting it into a healthy meal. So on this plate, I have 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm going to kind of shake it around. If you want to do this gluten-free, you can absolutely use your favorite gluten-free 1-to-1 ratio substitution. So there's so many out there versus instead of doing like almond flour or oat flour, which also works, I do like the all-purpose gluten-free 1-to-1 ratio substitutions. But you can use that, you can use oat flour, or you can use all-purpose flour. Now we're going to add some seasonings to it. Fatima said hi from Canada. Michelle says hello from the Dominican Republic. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you. We got people from all over the place. I love it. I love that. All right. So to this 1/3 of a cup of flour, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of paprika, regular paprika, not smoked paprika, because you could use smoked paprika, but we're going to get the flavors from the hot sauce. So just as an option, you can do smoked paprika if you're one of those that really loves like a hickory smoked or mesquite smoked flavor chicken wing, because we're doing buffalo chicken. Otherwise, I think we get plenty of flavor from the regular paprika. Onion powder. So this would be like all the classic ingredients you would get in your buffalo chicken wings, but without the skin, without the fat, and you can turn it into a meal. I'm going to do some garlic powder. So I did 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I'm going to add some salt and pepper. The recipe is down below, so you'll have all the ingredient measurements and everything, but if you're jotting it along, then as we go, then you can know what the measurements are. Do we have anybody else? Nope, we still got Michelle. All right, so I'm going to add some salt and pepper. About a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. All right, now we're going to give this just like I'm going to use my little whisk. You can use a fork to get all the ingredients blended together. I can totally smell the garlic and the onion. I love already how the seasoning is coming together. And this is like a light breading, which helps get the crispy exterior on the chicken breast, but also helps thicken the sauce, which is the key. So instead of like deep frying your wings and then dunking them in hot sauce, we have kind of a crispy skin created by this flour mixture, which also thickens the sauce and makes this like wonderful, thick buffalo sauce. So I want to make sure I don't have any pockets of flour here. And I'm doing this on a plate because this is going to be my dredging plate. So I'm going to add the chicken to the plate. See if you can see what it looks like. Just kind of like pink. That's all blended. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the chicken that I used. I'm a big fan of the thin sliced. Sometimes they're called scallop. They're called thin sliced, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. In my market, that's what they look like. See how thin that is? In my market, they are the same price as the regular boneless, skinless chicken breasts. But what I love about this is you do not have to pound it thin. And the reason we want the chicken pounded thin or thin slice is because we want it to cook evenly and quickly. So you know when you get a chicken breast and it's kind of like, it's not flat, it's kind of higher in the middle. That means the outer edges are often overcooked by the time the center is fully cooked to 165 degrees. But not if you have thin sliced and not if you pound the chicken thin. So if you start with regular chicken breasts, you have two options. You can slice them in the middle and make two from one fat chicken breast, or put your chicken breast in a freezer bag and pound it with a meat mallet or a rolling pin to get it to be about ½ inch thick, like that. All right, so we're going to dunk the chicken in this flour mixture, and we just want a light coating. So see that? That's what it looks like. And you shake off the excess. We'll set that guy aside. We're going to do about 1 pound to 1.25 pounds. So these are thin sliced. So I have 5 instead of 4 because the thin slice obviously way less. So I just had 5 instead of, you know, most recipes call for 4 chicken breasts. But we're just going for like 1 pound to 1.25 pounds for this recipe. Obviously you can double or triple it if you're having like a Super Bowl party coming up or guests coming over or a big family, then you can easily double or triple this recipe. It's awesome. You guys send in some questions. I'm here. It's what I'm here for. That's the whole purpose of live. So we can hang out together and talk. And tell me how spicy you like your buffalo chicken. I know there's a place when I lived in Arizona, there was a place that my sons love to go through. I mean, it's national, so Buffalo Wild Wings. You guys probably have heard of it if you don't have one, you know, in your neighborhood. And they have all the different heat levels of buffalo chicken, which is super cool because some people like it sweet, some people like it fiery. My kids definitely are on the fiery side. They love it hot, like where like you sweat under here hot. That's how hot they like it. We got a question. So Daria, hello. I hope I pronounced your name right. Hello from Worcester, Mass. I love buffalo anything and will probably make this for Super Bowl Sunday. Yes, and you're welcome for sharing it. Yes, Worcester. I think you say Worcester, Mass, if I'm not mistaken, right? My son's in college up there in Massachusetts. So this is a great Super Bowl. And as I said, you can make tons of them. You could, if you do chicken tenders, you know, you could just get as many as you think you'll need for your guests and do this with tenders instead. That way it's like more like finger food. Okay, these are well coated. See that? So what I'm going to do is get some butter in this skillet that I have preheated. About 1 tablespoon. You can use olive oil if you want. We are keeping this lean. I love the flavor and richness that butter adds. And since we're using chicken breasts and we're not deep frying them, 1 tablespoon of butter is, in my opinion, not going to kill anyone. So I like that. However, if you just want to do this in olive oil, that works too. And I want to stress that it's one of those two things and not vegetable oil because the flavor will carry through. Aren't a lot of ingredients in this dish. So kind of like if you use ones with flavor. So whether that's a good flavored olive oil or butter or a combination, half and half butter and olive oil, that works too. I just was writing a story. I'm working on a frittata story actually. And I was talking about why I wanted butter and olive oil in that frittata because it's like a great base flavor that carries through. When you don't use a lot of ingredients like that, frittata doesn't have a lot of ingredients. It's really important that the ones that you do use are robust, flavorful. Elix, I think that's Elix says hi. I hope you Yeah, I don't have blue cheese today, and I thought about that. This is what a lot of people like to do is dunk their wings in blue cheese. So what I was thinking would be great would be crumbled blue cheese on top, since we're doing kind of a twist on the actual recipe. So get your crumbled blue cheese or get a block and you can crumble it over when you serve this. But I like to garnish with green onions. I have some on deck to show you how I like to garnish it. Some people do like a dollop of a sour cream on this, you know, because that dairy does kind of calm the heat in your mouth. That's kind of the whole point. When you have something really hot, you're not supposed to drink water, you're supposed to drink milk. And that's because the dairy helps calm the heat on your palate. All right, I think the butter is hot enough. So I'm gonna get these in. This dish does not take long, so I need more questions. Hannah adds, what sides would you prepare for this? She said, did you? But, oh, when I did it back then, I believe for this, because there's such good sauce, I think I either had pasta or rice. Definitely rice works great with this, or your favorite grain, because it's saucy. And that way you have something to soak it up. Nice chunk of bread would be good too. But for a low carb option, your favorite like grain or crisp green salad, baked potatoes. I mean, you kind of, well, that's not low carb, but I kind of was going on different sides. But baked potatoes would be fabulous. So I'm going to get the heat up a little higher. I want to hear a sizzle, because the sizzle means color, because you're going to get good browning on the chicken. And so I kind of want to make sure before I put the other two in that we got some heat going on in here. My chit-chatting, I wasn't checking the heat too much. Anybody else? I got, oh, Hannah, what? Oh yeah, we already got sides. All right, so I missed it. So I missed the first Hannah question, and now I got the Hannah question. Maybe some other people could throw out what sides they would do. So say you're going to do this for Super Bowl. Me, since if I'm serving a crowd, I have a great macaroni salad that I love, or a pasta salad, a great potato salad, you know, things that are easy. I have these baked potatoes with bacon and cheddar. It's all on my website, but those are great like finger foods. Now we got some noise to go along with this. So if you're going to do this with chicken tenders and everybody's eating pretty much with their hands, a lot of appetizer bite-sized snacks on my website under the appetizer tab. Okay. Oh, it smells so good already. And we didn't even make the sauce. So these kind of nestle in here. The goal is to try not to crowd your pan for the purposes of this live. I crowded it a little bit. So in a perfect world, you'd work in batches, and that way all the sides get crispy. But these are going to shrink a little bit. They're not horribly crowded, but in the perfect world, especially if you're doing a big batch, make sure you have room around the chicken so that all the edges can get golden brown and crispy. Deborah asks, where are your salt? Oh, these salt and pepper grinders. Oh, are you kidding? I'm not sponsored, but look. And they're not battery operated. They come with like a little charger. I got them on Amazon. You can, I can send a link if you want, not sponsored again, but I had a battery operated set that I thought I loved, had for about 3 months, and they just conked out. They just stopped working. So I read the reviews. This is the pepper one. And then they have, you can change how coarse you want the grind. Last week when I was shooting my shows for Craftsy, I changed the grind so that the camera could actually see. It's fun to see the pepper come out. So yes, Amazon. And if you want, I can send you the exact link, because there are a lot of different ones. And I want the one that had like the best reviews and longevity. And I love it because you can have like a free hand. Like I can do this and be salting. Comes with a little cap on the bottom too, so that when you put it on your counter, you're not getting salt and pepper all over your counter. There's that. Courtney, am I reading that right? Yes. I have a family of 6 and 4 of them are boys in their teens. How much chicken would you buy? Oh gosh. Well, I have 2 boys and they could easily eat a pound of chicken. They're athletes, run track, they eat a lot. So I would say, usually they say plan on 1 1/4 pounds for 4 people, but that's not teenage boys. So I would say 2 pounds. 2 pounds for sure for you guys. And then there's nothing wrong with having leftovers. I think having leftover cooked chicken is a lifesaver in the fridge. You can make buffalo chicken salad, sandwiches, wraps, throw it into a stir fry. So err on the side of buying too much chicken. Like get a 3 pound pack value size for your family, because this is definitely flavorful and easy to have a lot of it, and it's healthy too. But most recipes, and I do think it's kind of like not enough. 1 pound of chicken for 4 people. If 2 of the people are young, then yes. But for the most part, 1 1/4, and then hungry teens get more. All right, I'm gonna show you what this looks like. I just love the color. That is because of the paprika. And you see how it's not as crowded, it's not crowded anymore. So this is really just a quick pan sear. We're not going for cooking the chicken through at this point because we're going to simmer it in the sauce. Beautiful. All right, while that's finishing up over there, I am going to show you how we make this amazing buffalo sauce. So easy. Any other questions in here? No, bring your questions. All right, so I've got in here already 2 tablespoons of water. Daria says, I think mac and cheese on the side, that'd be a great side dish, and I totally agree. If they're eating with their hands, but you could do mac and cheese balls, right? Make the mac and cheese, put it in a ball, bread it, but then that's kind of not the healthiest option. But I love little potato bites that I have, smashed potatoes. What other things do I love that I love it? I have little phyllo cups filled with hummus, but you don't require any cooking. You just bake, except for the phyllo cups, you just put them on a baking sheet, toast them for 5 minutes, then fill with hummus and roasted red peppers. That's on my website. Have you ever seen on my website, I have these like pepperoni cups. You take a big sliced pepperoni and you stick that in a mini muffin cup, bake it, and then fill it with whatever, like mozzarella cheese. Again, that's not healthy, but for Super Bowl Sunday, you just have 1 or 2 of each thing. It's not a bad thing. Sam says, hello from rainy Arizona. I love buffalo chicken, anything. Rainy Arizona, I'm in Pennsylvania. It's raining here. It's melting the 7 inches of snow that we got on Friday. And thank you to my Craftsy crew who stayed through the blizzard to shoot my show. I'm excited for you guys to see these 2 new, well, more than 2, but we shot 2 last week. And they are, one is all about produce and one is everything is cooked in the skillet. So life-saving classes. So 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar that's stuck to the bowl. So we're going to smoosh that up with a whisk. So why brown sugar? Because hot sauce is vinegary, right? So it's got a base of vinegar and then it's got chili peppers, and all brands pretty much are the same. Not heat level, but in the fact that they're made with vinegar. So that's tangy. So to balance that tanginess, you add a little sugar. All the buffalo, ooh, I can get in some heat. All the buffalo chicken that you get out in restaurants has some sugar in the sauce. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Gorgeous. So this, look how pretty this looks with the paprika coating. So that, flip one more over. Then I better get the sauce in here so they don't dry out. All right, I think I'm caught up with questions. Keep sending them, y'all, because I don't have that much to do in this recipe. So we got the brown sugar dissolved in the water. Hot sauce. So which brand of hot sauce should you use? Frank's is classic if you're making homemade buffalo wings. But use what you can use what you already have or what your family prefers. There's Crystal, there's Tabasco brands. There's so many hot sauces out there now. Choose what you like. Classic would be Frank's. And I got the big jug because I knew we're going to go through it. So this is a 1/2 cup. Seems like a lot. Oh, it smells so good. That may seem like a lot, but remember, this is like a saucy dish that you can spoon over rice, or you can or put over noodles or whatever, or serve it alongside some kind of a starch to soak that up. It's tickle in the back of my throat. All right, so this just goes right in to the pan. Let me see. So this would be like as if you just fried your wings and then you dunk them in the sauce. A lot of those buffalo wing recipes also have lots of butter in them too. So you can see this does not. And now, now we just bring this to a simmer, and in 2 to 3 minutes, because the chicken is thin, it's gonna be already cooked through. So I need more questions because this buffalo chicken is like almost ready. Who do we got? Jan, let's see. Hang on, let me flip this Jan. So we get it all coated. I want all the sides coated. Okay. Jan has learned how to cook. Oh, she watched Learning How to Cook Me on the Food Network back in the day. I inspired Jan to take chances in the kitchen and try new things. And you are welcome, Jan. That makes my day. That's kind of was the whole point of Quick Fix Meals, was helping people get delicious, easy weeknight meals to the table. Great use of leftovers. And I'm doing a lot of the similar stuff on Craftsy. So if you check out my classes, I have a cook once, eat twice, which is like morphing on Food Network. All those things that people loved about the Food Network show, I'm incorporating into my Craftsy shows and my cookbooks and everything. My latest cookbook, my 11th cookbook, came out a couple months ago. 30-minute meal prep. So all the recipes are ready in 30 minutes or less, and each one plans for leftovers for a future meal. So I'm keeping that theme going ever since 2015, is it, when I was on Food Network? I'm asking you. I've kept that theme going because people love creative use of leftovers. They love 30-minute meal prep, storage tips, prep ahead tips, all those things that we need to get meals to the table, whether we're cooking for 4 or 6 or 2. So I kind of kept that theme going. I'm going to turn this down and let it simmer. I believe another, Hannah. Yes. So Hannah, the gluten-free flour will work. I mentioned that in the beginning. The my favorite are the like 1-to-1 ratio substitutions. So Bob's Red Mill makes one. There's many out there. I find that the 1-to-1 gluten-free flour blends perform just like flour, whether you're baking or doing something like this. And you can't tell the difference, and then you have a gluten-free meal. I also think oat flour would be great, but almond flour I think tends to burn in applications like this. So I would say oat flour, or grind up, either buy it or grind up oats into a flour, or use the 1-to-1 substitution gluten-free flour blend. Say that fast 5 times, gluten-free. Anyway, so that answers that question. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. Someday there will be a way for you to smell the food that you're watching, I think, someday. But you can just imagine your favorite aroma of wings and that wonderful spicy stickiness that you get to your fingers. That's what's happening here. Let me see if you can get a view in there without me pouring this all over the counter. We have another one. Okay, Jessica asks, would this work with tofu cubes? Interesting, tofu. Let me think about how the tofu would work, because you want that coating, that paprika, onion, and garlic. So I'm wondering if you would just add, so here's what I would do. I would pan sear your tofu without a coating on it. There's 2 ways to do it. Pan sear your tofu without a coating on it and add the paprika, onion, and garlic to the hot sauce mixture that we've had in this. That way you get those flavors, like the wonderful flavors that you get from wings. That way you could do it that way. Or if, I think I have actually breaded tofu, but it requires an egg coat. So it would be like flour, egg, and then this coating. And that's kind of a lot of work. So I think I like my first idea. So get a good sear on your tofu cubes. Searing adds flavor. If you're a vegan, do it in olive oil. Then make the sauce with the paprika, garlic, and onion in that, and then finish it like that. You may have to simmer a little bit longer so the sauce reduces, because remember, the flour is what's thickening the sauce. I hope that helped. Jessica. Please send more questions or comments. What's your favorite recipe to share? Or what are y'all doing for the Super Bowl? And how's your weather? Because it's been wacky nationwide. Right? It has been crazy. I'm going to show you how I get this to the plate. It's going to give it another minute to make sure the chicken's fully cooked through. I'll show you what I like to do when in doubt. Like if you're working with thicker chicken breasts, always have this little handy meat thermometer. Instant read. Just poke it into the thickest part, not touching a bone if you're using, if you have poultry with bone in it. With tenders, you almost don't need to do it, but all chicken should cook to 165. That's it, 165, no less. Let's go in, says my room was 70 degrees. This says 167. So we are where we need to be, which I pretty much thought we were because they're thin sliced. But if you have any doubts, this is your best friend. Again, another inexpensive thing you can get online, never without it, just to be sure that it's cooked through. Rachel asks, do you have a lemonade recipe? This reminds me of summer. That's great. Do I have a lemonade recipe? It might have vodka in it. Is that a problem? No, I think that's an orange juice recipe. I actually don't have a homemade lemonade recipe, but because I think it's probably just something that you could do to taste. Simple syrup and lemon juice. But you're right, it is kind of, well, buffalo wings for the summer, but they remind me of football season too, and going into the Super Bowl. That's kind of also why I thought of this. It was like healthy January / going into football season wings, buffalo chicken wings. So that's where I came up with this. I'll work on that lemonade recipe because I think a simple syrup and maybe even agave if you don't have simple syrup, or you can make simple syrup, equal parts water and sugar for a fabulous lemonade. Iced tea, summery too. Let me see. Cassia says hello from Brazil. That's on my bucket list, Brazil. It's one of those places. I'm an empty nester now, so Brazil is up there. Wally asks, how long can I store these? Okay, so if you have leftover buffalo chicken, once it's cool, transfer it to an airtight container, which is what I'm going to do when we're finished, like one of these. You get in the grocery store, transfer it to an airtight container, and you have up to 3 days in the refrigerator or 3 months in the freezer. And then you want to thaw overnight before reheating it. The way I would reheat it, I'm big fan of not reheating in the microwave unless it's, I find that most things aren't the same in the microwave. So I would reheat in more hot sauce. I'd make the a little bit more sauce again and kind of give them a little zhuzh in the pan till it's hot all the way through. It's also great cold. And as I mentioned before, if you have leftovers and you don't want to have the exact same meal again, it's great for buffalo chicken salad. Just add some mayonnaise, celery, put some blue cheese on there, wraps, great in stir fries. You've already got the heat there. You could just add some vegetables, put it over rice. You have like a buffalo chicken stir fry. I love repurposing leftovers and not having the exact same thing 2 times. So there's great flavor here, and you can use it multiple different ways. Jan, I recently made your Mediterranean flatbread. I know the one you're talking about has capers on it. And she's making that for Super Bowl, but the chicken would be another great thing to serve. I think you should serve both. I think you should, because this is like healthy, could be gluten-free, and then you have the flatbread, which is completely not gluten-free. And the flatbread, if I recall, it has capers and sun-dried tomatoes and lots of cheese. It's colorful, it's pretty. This would be a great partner, I think, because they're different. I have lots of other pizza. I did like the only pizza dough recipe you ever need. That's on my website too. That's another good thing for Super Bowl. And calzones. I just did a calzone feature. All that's on there. Football food. And then after the Super Bowl, we're going to start talking spring salads and summery dishes going into the warmer months. That is the plan. Or Valentine's Day, we have that too. Hannah said, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can answer that. Who's in it again? Man, I don't know, because I lived out west and now I live out east. My team didn't make it, the Eagles. So maybe the Ravens, maybe. Only because my sons used to love the Ravens. I don't know. Let me sleep on that. Maybe when it gets down to 2 teams. Because I really, once the Eagles were out, I kind of stopped paying attention. But that sounds horrible, but it is kind of true. Annie says, I love Robin's recipes. Absolutely delicious. Thank you, Annie. Thank you for spreading the good word. I love what I do. I haven't stopped doing it. When I was filming last week for Craftsy, one of the guys said, are you still learning? Or is this just like, you're just like in autopilot now? And I said, I'm still learning from the very first day I started to today and tomorrow and the next day. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly wanting to learn new things, new techniques, new ingredients. And our supermarkets have changed so much. We have stuff from, international ingredients from all over the world. We have pots and pans we didn't have access to before. So I'm constantly trying to learn how to use these things, incorporate them into my recipes, my books, my columns, and then share them with you so that you're not afraid of, like jicama used to be weird, right? And now it's on every grocery store shelf. So I try to stay current, new things, new ingredients, and share my knowledge. So thank you for saying that, Annie, because that's why I do what I do for people like you that actually cook my recipes. I'm going to plate this real quick. It's nothing fancy. I often, if you know me, I bring the skillet to the table. But if you're doing this for a party, and somebody earlier mentioned blue cheese crumbles on top would be fabulous, or because blue cheese dip is what you would do normally with chicken wings or ranch. Ranch is another popular dip. You got your carrots and celery on the side. I didn't do it because I would serve this as a main dish. But if you're doing it, party style for the Super Bowl or any other event, then absolutely carrots and celery and some dips. I'm going to give the sauce a whisk in the pan. I'm going to scrape up. This scrapes up all those delicious juicy bits from the bottom, flavor bits where the chicken was seared. Let's get that in the sauce. You don't ever want to leave that behind. It's like the most flavorful part of your sauce is what you started with, those brown bits, whether it's chicken, steak, seafood, anything, that's the flavor right there. I'm going to pour this over. Can you all see? Beautiful. You see why I serve this over rice or buttered noodles or with bread or tortillas or whatever, just something to soak that up. And you know me, the little dot of hot sauce, I'm going to clean that up. And then I have pre-chopped some green onions. I like the pop of color, but you could leave it off, or you can do parsley, if you want the color. Chives. See if you can see my buffalo chicken. Look at that. I think you can see that. I don't want to slide off the edge of the counter. So that is the healthy buffalo chicken with all the flavors of wings, but in a healthy chicken breast way that you could do with tenders and also thighs. A lot of people are thigh fans. I've noticed people that write in my columns. So absolutely boneless, skinless chicken thighs work just as well. They just cook maybe a little bit longer. And again, if you're concerned, you just grab your trusty thermometer and make sure it's 165 and you're good every time. We have Molly who says, thank you. I will be making this for dinner this week. Awesome. And remember, there's ways to adjust the heat level. So I used Frank's, the traditional one, but there are ways to get like super, super hot sauces. My son loves hot sauce. So for a while I had a hot sauce subscription for him, so he would get different varieties every month. This Christmas, I got him a hot sauce making kit. So you can make it as powerful as he wants. And I dropped off food last week and tasted his first concoction, which was Scotch bonnet and mango. And I can't do a lot. I can't do what he can do. And I did one little finger and I was tearing. But so someone like him would probably use a hotter hot sauce for this recipe. But this is definitely crowd pleasing. This is the flavors that most people are familiar with. It has like the right amount of heat. Plus, you always have that dairy on the side to cool your mouth if needed. Do we have any more questions for me? It doesn't have to be about this recipe because this recipe is pretty easy and straightforward, and it's down below the link to download it. If you didn't write down the measurements and everything. So no more questions for me. So I hope you guys try this. I hope your team wins in the Super Bowl. Don't forget, I have lots of information. I have classes on Craftsy, lots of them. I have more coming. And I hope you enjoy the game. I hope you have a great rest of your winter into spring. And I hope to be back soon with another live. Maybe you guys could send in something you'd like to see me do as we get into spring, and I can put something together for you, something fun, easy. I mean, I just did a frittata recipe. People don't know how to do that. That could be fun, something like that. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And y'all have a great night.